just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your
It is a gloomy, dark Good Friday afternoon as we're here in the Badger State. Fourth qualifying session of the season for the NR2003 FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship. We get ready to set the grid for tomorrow afternoon's Old Spice Easter Grand Prix here at the Old Spice High Endurance Raceway. Trey Wright on the call here for the North American Sim Racing Network. And already, we got cars flying out here on track, led out by the four of Philip Torres. Old Spice is certainly one of the fun racetracks we've got here on the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship slate. It's the earliest we've ever ran this race. It's got to go back to the month of August, where the last two times that we have ran this race here at Old Spice have been race number 8, but now Old Spice has been pushed up to the Easter weekend, as Easter just a couple of days away, and Philip Torres, first one to put a lap down, and Caleb Rose will jump to the top of the charts with a 41.4. Joey Hightower up to second, trying to make the second race of the season in that Jaguar number 27 machine. Of course, we're starting off with a GTLM cars, and we'll move up to the GT Daytonas here in just about 15 minutes time. There is Owen Miles, the most recent winner here in GT Le Mans, and right behind the second most recent winner in GTLM, Chris Harvey. Papyrus and Willow Springs winners, nose to tail to nose, I guess you could say, as Torres putting down the first sub 40-second lap time of the afternoon. And with how we've got the weather here, a little bit gloomy here on this Good Friday. It makes sense why why it's gloomy, but it's of course Easter time. It is right at the beginning of April, and you want to say April showers bring May flowers. We expect a little bit better weather here tomorrow afternoon for the 150 lap event, but here in Q, that's going to mean for both these classes that sun is not going to be out here, and it's also going to mean that there is going to be a lot of grip on this racetrack. Joey Hightower jumping to the top of the charts, and Caleb Rose will immediately bump him off in that 5 machine. Caleb has had a tumultuous history here at Old Spice. I believe he's flipped in both races we have ran here at the Old Spice High Endurance Raceway, so he currently sits top of the charts looking for a front row seat in GT Le Mans, a driver that's just trying to make a race. Ever since dominated the Daytona 2.4, Eric Monaco right now all the way down in 28th on his outlap, and that is not a great start for the Unionville, New York native who has failed to qualify for the previous 2 races. He does have James Lawson behind him, giving him a little bit of a draft, and there you go. Up into 18th, make it 19th. Still, a handful of cars have not come out, as Riley Sampson and Anthony Joseph have not yet posted a lap time. Riley Sampson, who was just coming out, or won that pole position for Papyrus. Still trying to make some last-minute adjustments on that Orbit number 36, I believe. He is now the only car not out on track, as Anthony Joseph has just peeled out. There he is in that Miller High Life number 22. And it's Joey Hightower. Failed to qualify 2 weeks ago at the Papyrus Motorsports Park, if I'm not mistaken. He qualified 29th out of 30 drivers. So he did not qualify for that race last week, and he's currently fastest out on track of 40.662. And this is going to be the condensed schedule that we've got here for the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship is a little bit abnormal. Of course, we had to push back the Papyrus race by a week due to scheduling conflicts, but also with the Easter Grand Prix being where it is. Typically, it was held third week of April when it was out of the Denver Motorsports Park, but now it is held just the day before Easter, or here 2 days before Easter, setting up the grid for GT Le Mans. Kyle Wood, who finished third last week, or 2 weeks ago. Actually, he finished second 2 weeks ago. He is not faring too well, I believe. We'll get the running ticker going here, I believe. Wood, where is he running out on track? I believe he should be in a solid spot. Of course, I'm probably blind and dumb, and I don't know where he is. He's up in 9th, so not terrible for Kyle Wood, as all 30 drivers have put down a lap time. Mateus Bento gets pushed off of the cut line, as Bryce Egan, your Las Vegas winner from a handful of weeks ago, he's now going to get pushed off by James Lawson, and now Lawson gets pushed down by the 78. So now Mike Vincent Jr. will be, and he'll himself will be pushed down, and now we've got a lot of cars putting down some fast laps. How about Chris Harvey, your Willow Springs winner, putting down a 40.627, 3/100ths of a second faster than Kasumi Takashi. And look at all the drivers that we've got up here. Chris Harvey, Kasumi Takashi, Joey Hightower, who failed to qualify 2 weeks ago, Caleb Rose, Michael Lewis. We haven't seen him at all this season, and now Takashi will take that top spot away from Chris Harvey, putting down a 40.601, 1/1000th of a second away. Rather, 2/1000ths of a second away from a sub 40.6 second time. And meanwhile, we go down. Eric Monaco currently the last car in, and he is just trying to not make it 3 races in a row for a Daytona 2.4 winner, where he would fail to qualify. Because again, you fail to qualify for 3 races, that is essentially going to kill you in the championship battle. And the 2024 champion of this class right now, who, again, you went into the Daytona 2.4, dominated at Daytona, could not get anything at Willow Springs, couldn't get a drafting partner at Papyrus, and here he is tantalizingly close, 4/1000ths of a second away from being pushed out. And Monaco will come down the pit lane trying to set a faster lap time to give himself a little bit more of a cushion. Angel Gutierrez, who right now would fail to qualify for 2 races in a row, and it has not been a good start to the season for Gutierrez. He's currently all the way down 25th in the point standings. Wrecked out early at Willow Springs, failed to qualify 2 weeks ago, Papyrus, and now that 90 car is very, very, very in danger of failing to qualify for its 2nd consecutive race. Of the drivers, some other notable drivers on the outside looking in. Bruno Diacomo, he is all the way down in that 12 machine. He's currently 26. Roberto Crown Jr. and Riley Sampson, as well as Sarah Taylor, and Logan Williams too, as well as Luna Farmer. And now the 2 machine has been pushed down once again outwards, and I believe he may get pushed down by Emily York Watson, and he did. York Watson running a 40.694. Nobody has been able to best Kasumi Takashi just yet. We're already 2/3 of the way here through qualifying, just about, as Joey Hightower misjudged the pit road entry, and that is going to destroy that Jaguar 27, and same thing for Kasumi Takashi. Well, that was not good, as Diacomo is going to push Monaco down even further. James Lawson, right now, the last driver in based on lap times, but you go Riley Sampson, who won the pole 2 weeks ago. He's currently out of the lot. He's currently out of the race as of right now. That would be 3 races in a row. Eric Monaco failed to qualify. Sarah Taylor would fail to qualify for her 2nd race. And now James Lawson gets pushed down. See who set a good lap time. It was Bryce Egan. Car 16 up to P16. Riley Sampson heading back out again, trying to set a little bit better of a lap time, but Takashi still holding firm and 26 1/1000ths of a second faster than Chris Harvey. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it certainly is based on just how close these guys have been, because right now the front row would be Takashi and Harvey. And how about Kyle Wood? Up to 3rd. To say that he has had a firecracker under his tailpipe would be an understatement, because he missed the opening race of the season, but he is inside the top 10 despite missing race number 1 of the year on the Daytona 2.4. And here he is. He has been blitzing the charts the last couple of weeks, and it didn't fare too well at Willow Springs. He was able to finish, I believe he finished, he got a top 10. He finished in 9th, and of course finished 2nd last week, but got enough points to where he essentially won the race based on bonus points alone. And here he is with a pretty good chance of starting inside the top couple of rows. How about Pedro Sabato, up to 5th in that 64 machine, currently dead last in points after failing to qualify for the opening 2 races. Finally got some points after the race 2 weeks ago at Papyrus. Here he is. Felipe Santos' old car, who won this race here for GTLM 2 years ago. Another year and a half ago at this point, but 2 visits ago in that Eaton number 64. And the driver of the defending winner of this race, Mateus Bento, who's driving Sebastian Palmer's old car. There he is, in car number 20. And he is currently the last car in that Napa number 20 machine. Mike Vincent Jr. currently on the outside looking in as well with 3:35 to go. It's Russell Blaze right in front of that 20 machine. He is currently inside top 20. James Lawson, Eric Monaco, and Roberto Crown Jr. all pushed down. Same thing with Mike Vincent Jr., who's looking to not fail to qualify for the 2nd time this season. You know, this season has really been a changing of the guard. As you know, looking at the point standings here, Bradley Ream, who went for a wild ride last week at Rockingham, currently the points leader in GT Le Mans. He's up to 9th in that 40 machine, but for Riley Sampson, there's only 5 points out of the points lead for GT Le Mans. For him to fail to qualify and for Bradley to finish where he, or Bradley start to where he is starting, that's going to be a really big factor in this championship. Again, you got Nathan Stapleton, Owen Miles. Miles, who's looking for 2 wins in a row in the 59. He's up in 6th, and Nathan Stapleton down in 16th. And Bento trying to run a little bit faster of a time. That last time by for Bento, a 40.8, so he's a 1/10 of a second off of where he wants to be with 2 minutes to go. Riley Sampson's going to come down the pit lane, and he might be waving the white flag here. Zachary Fitzwater was involved in a couple of incidences at Rockingham last weekend for the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. He's looking to make his 2nd race of the season. Currently sitting 23rd in points after only making the Daytona 2.4, so he's in pretty good shape right now, all things considered. He's only 19th, so he is on the cusp of being potentially pushed out with a faster lap time, but everybody is on those older BF Goodrich tires. 1:35 to go here in GT Le Mans qualifying. And again, Monaco, you got to feel bad for Eric Monaco. It's been an unfortunate storyline all season long, just how dominant he was during speed weeks, how dominant he was in the Daytona 2.4 qualifying session, the roar before the 2.4, and the Daytona 2.4 itself. kind of like Kyle Larson in the Indy 500 qualifying. It's kind of taken a pretty big hit at stab at him for the next couple of races, but it's also taken a little bit of a dip here in his MBCS results as well, as we've got 50 seconds to go in regular time. We'll probably have about 90 seconds to go in bonus time. And how about that? Monaco, just we were talking about him, a 40.71. That's going to knock off Bento by 3/1000ths of a second, and just as we're talking about him, Eric Monaco, that last time by, jumps up inside the top 21. Can he stay there? And that would be an absolute heartbreaker for Bento. We'll see if Bento was able to make it back around here. You know, the racing gods giveth and they taketh, but this is still not over by any stretch of the imagination. That'll be the second consecutive race Matheus Bento would miss in that 20 machine. And it looks like we're probably going to have about 70 seconds of bonus time. So Monaco looking to run a little bit better of a lap here, and hoping nobody outside of the top 21 runs a better lap than him. He will come back around. I didn't run anything better that time by. But how about that? Matheus Bento, who has been one of the hottest young stars on the North American Sim Racing Network to start this season, just getting pushed out in the final little bit of qualifying. 30 seconds remain. And where even is Bento? I don't even see him out on track. He may have pulled off. He's going to, actually that last time by, not fast enough for Bento, a 40.8 that last time by. And we will see if things will hold. Right now it looks like Kasumi Takashi, who ran a 40.601, will be your pole sitter. But for the first time since late January, Eric Monaco is finally going to make a dance. He will be the 21st and final qualifier. Drivers, here for GT Le Mans. We take a look at your GTLM standings. Kasumi Takashi will start from the front row for the U.S. Air Force. In fact, both military cars here in GTLM, with the Air Force number 7, the U.S. Army Black Knights number 8. Chris Harvey will start on the front row for GTLM. Eric Monaco by 3/1000ths of a second over Matheus Bento will take that 21st and final qualifying spot away. That's the second straight race Matheus Bento has failed to qualify for. Zachary Fitzwater, Bruno Diacomo, they'll finally make a couple of races. Fitzwater, same thing as Monaco, will finally make another race. But all the drivers fail to qualify here for tomorrow afternoon's 150 lapper. Matheus Bento, Mike Vincent Jr., Logan Williams, Taylor Lay, James Lawson, Luna Farmer, Roberto Crown Jr., Riley Sampson, and Sarah Taylor, the 9 cars that fail to qualify. But we'll be right back here in just a couple of moments for GT Daytona qualifying here from the Old Spice High Endurance Raceway. And we are back here at the Old Spice Raceway. It's time for GT Daytona qualifying here for tomorrow afternoon's. It's Old Spice Easter Grand Prix, 150 laps around the Old Spice High Endurance Raceway, and Nathan Buchanan will be the first car to head out here for a qualifying lap for GT Daytona, coming off of that DNQ 2 weeks ago in that Menards number 99, and he certainly dropped down a lot, dropping down a few positions in the point standings down to 6th. Currently a full race's worth of points behind, rather a couple. A little bit, about 75% of a full race's worth of points behind Dylan Ebrahimian, who currently leads the championship standings in that number 25 machine, excuse me. And there he is driving Michael Brown's old car. Won the 2024 championship for GT Daytona. Igor Barreto, Ryan Durrani and Damian Caranco making their way out here for qualifying. A 42.902 1-0. For Nathan Buchanan. And he will set the fastest time so far on his outlap. Robert Mikhailovich out on track, looking to make his 3rd consecutive race in that 56 after having engine issues plaguing him all throughout that race at Papyrus. He's looking for a little bit better of a result in that Project Wildfire 56 machine. A couple other drivers making their way out. But for the most part, everybody is putting some final adjustments down. Lauren Martinez right behind Kyler Anderson, who has been a qualifying darling, but has not been able to put together any solid finishes just yet in that 42 machine. Big part of the reason why he's down 20th in the point standings, right behind Eric Blaze in the 9, who right now runs in 5th of 42.534 for Nathan Buchanan, puts him at the top of the charts, and Robert Mikhailovich right behind him as well. Dylan Matthews, Daniel Bouchard making their way out on track for the opening time today. And at Old Spice, well, GT Daytona has always been a very interesting class to follow, especially out on these runs as Carson Miller is going to hit the pit wall. We're going to see a little bit of trouble there with that all day tomorrow afternoon. Harrison Fox in the 27 trying to rumble around in that automobile. There's two drivers out on track that have yet to make a race yet this season. One of them, Prix McShane in that number 22 Pennzoil Viper. Has not made a race yet this year in that number 22 machine. She currently runs 12th, make it 13th in qualifying. And to say that Bucky Campbell has not had a great season would be a massive understatement. 0 for 3 in making races. He's currently only has 15 points on the season. And right now, qualifying in 22nd. So right now he would be on the outside looking in once again, and that would not be good for that Bardol number 1 machine that had a lot of talent. With Bruno Giacomo behind the wheel last season, there's a defending winner of this race for GT Daytona, Esteban Lasser. Down to qualify for Daytona, and he is currently on his outlap right now. And the defending champion, currently 14th in the point standings. Not a great start to the season for that Rain-X 66 group. It's Matt Oskin, last race's pole sitter, coming out. It's Logan Alexander, last race's winner, coming out of here as well. Didn't have the greatest of outlaps, and this time on the pylon. 71 up to 15th, so that'll push everybody else back down a little bit here. Now everybody's starting to put down some pretty fast lap times, but Nathan Buchanan helps when you're the first car out there. You get all the clean air, and he's able to be the only car to put down a sub 42.2 second lap time. Only got about 1/1000th of a second, but looking pretty strong out there, as is Landon Walker, the rookie in that Xfinity 18, looking pretty strong as well. Alexander Rowe looking to be pretty well as now, and then he's going to take that top spot away from Buchanan that last time by a 42.182. So Alexander Rowe will now start from the pole position, and now have 28 cars that have put down a lap. We're still waiting on Oskin and Rogel Dorn to put down a lap time, but right now, well, Parrish is going to be on the outside looking in. Same with Carson Miller, Aaron Abel, and Connor Monaco. And for Abel and Monaco, yeah, that would be the second consecutive race that both of those drivers would fail to make it. And for Aaron Abel, who finished runner-up in the championship last year, this new qualifying format has not favored him whatsoever. Logan Alexander, top of the charts, second to the top of the charts in that 71 machine. Lauren Martinez, Titan Nicholas with some good runs as well. Same thing with Igor Barreto trying to make his first race since the Daytona 2.4. Same thing for Ryan Durrani, who's currently not running the best in that 16. He's currently down in 24, so he needs a fast time. Dylan Bohemian was down in 25th, I believe. Now he's going to shoot all the way back up, and he will. Kyler Anderson, speak of the devil, jumps up to the pole position, and Bohemian up to 8th as the pole sitter. 9 minutes to go here in regulation time for qualifying, as I find a way around everybody. It's Carson Miller, a Daytona 2.4 winner, and well, he would be the first winner this season a previous winner, I believe, to fail to qualify for another race. Although Logan Alexander failed to qualify for Willow Springs, but then he won the next race at Papyrus. So I'm not sure if that would really count, but right now, Lauren Martinez and now Aaron Abel up to third in the 98. So everybody putting down sub 42.2 second times. Top six have got a sub 42.2. As all 30 drivers except Samat Ozkin, who is yet to put down a lap time. We saw him coming out, and now he'll put down a lap time 43.542. Not what you want for Samat Ozkin. He is getting a little bit of a push there from Priya McShane, who right now runs in that 27th spot, and Bucky Campbell in front of that 01 and that 02 as well. So Campbell also not running the best of times in that one machine. And for both those drivers, again, we didn't see a whole lot of progress from Tatiana Nagora, but Priya McShane has just not been good on these Q runs. Ryan Durrani not the greatest as well. And the biggest surprise right now is Carson Miller as well as Chikira Takashi. Right now, in that 046, actually, right as we're talking about her, Takashi is going to put down an 8th lap time. So now looking at the line right now, it's Matt Lagasse, who's currently got it over Juan Carlos Espinoza. No, I think Juan Carlos is going to run a pretty good lap. He's got some drafting help from behind by Nathan Buchanan. And I think this 11 machine is going to a pretty good lap this next time around. Survey says no. Campbell, 0.2 of a second, rather just a 100th of a second off of making the dance in the one machine. Right now, Harrison Fox, Ryan Durrani, Rogel Dorn, Samat Ozkin, Carson Miller, Damian Karanko, and Priya McShane would all fail to make the dance. Right now, Kyler Anderson still holding firm with a 42.134. Still a little bit of time to go here in qualifying as we're past the halfway point. Right now, the front row would be Anderson and Martinez. How about Daniel Bouchard, Aaron Abel, and Alexander Rowe rounding out the top 5 as well. Bouchard trying to get back in the standings after failing to qualify for the last race at Papyrus. But for Carson Miller, who's already 70 points behind Dylan Ebrahimian, this is not what you want for that 7-Eleven automobile. He's had a rough start ever since. It was the exact same thing with Eric Monaco, where ever since the Daytona 2.4, both those drivers, not only in the FMGTC, but also on the Mission Barbecue Cup Series side of things, haven't really had the best of results, and it's really shown here, especially in the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship. Now, of course, Carson Miller, he does have that win at Daytona. That's set up pretty nice, and he's been relatively consistent over these last couple of races. You know, for Miller, got third at Papyrus, and I believe he got 19th at Willow Springs. He was caught up in a couple of things early on, so not the greatest of results there, but an average finish of about, let's see, 19. Average finish of 10.3 for Carson Miller so far. Ozkin will come back down the pit lane. This is not the qualifying result you want here for Carson Miller. He is in a little bit of a drafting group, but you know, with how technical Old Spice can be, you know, we're not going to see drafting be as valuable as it was at Papyrus as now. It's going to be Harrison Fox who's going to be up inside the top 21. That's going to push out both Matt Lagasse as well as Robert Mikhailovich. Dylan Ebrahimian, he's all the way down to 19th, so everybody putting down blisteringly fast lap times in this middle group as Ebrahimian, again, 42.235 all the way down. He was up in 8th at one point, but everybody pushing him down like a plunger. Taco Bell toilet already, 4 minutes to go here in Q. So Miller trying to step it up, but I think a fall off might be affecting him a little bit here. No changes at the line on the pylon. Anderson and Shakira Takashi are now the front row. So Takashi with a pretty good lap in that 046 car. A little bit of a draft right behind Marcus Glitch, who's going to go out of the groove through turn number 3. And again, the layout of this track, a little bit technical. You know, it doesn't look that technical on face value, but the two turns, the east and west ends of the track, the two hairpins are where we're going to see all the trouble transpire. Again, we've seen a couple of issues coming off of the pit lane for a lot of these drivers as well. And turn number 1, ooh, turn 2, boy, Harrison Fox getting door slammed by Oskin. So Matt Oskin just trying to do anything he can for a fast lap time. I don't think it's going to come by here, and that's not what you want for Harrison Fox. It was just tantalizingly close from falling outside of the top 21. That's exactly what's going to happen. Will Parrish is going to get bumped down. I believe Connor Monaco is going to run a pretty fast time, and that puts Dylan Ibrahimian on the ledge as well, along with Will Parrish. Right now, Marcus Glitch in that 32 machine, right now qualifying in 5th. Pretty good result for him, all things considered. Right now, the 9 drivers that would be on the outside looking in: Harrison Fox, Robert Mikhailovich, Matt Lagasse, who would fail to qualify for his 3rd consecutive race in that 60 car, if I'm not mistaken. Juan Carlos Espinoza, Bucky Campbell, Priya McShane, Carson Miller, Samat Oskin, and Damian Karanko would be the 9 drivers going home in the next 2.5 minutes or so. And again, you go back to Papyrus where it all just came down to who got a good draft. But now we're just starting to see the guys that have just not been able to make a race at all. And you would think that Priya McShane and Bucky Campbell, it's weird, you know, those guys aren't teammates, they're just the same manufacturers, but neither of them have been able to make a race. You know, you got a 2 2/3 chance of making the grid. So you would think that lightning would strike for one of those guys, but they've just not had any sort of setup whatsoever. Now Will Parrish gets bumped down. See who got a fast time. I believe it may have been, trying to see who got it. Hey, it's the exact same thing with Eric Monaco. Priya McShane, a 42.228. It's good enough to put her in the show if she'll remain up in there, but that is going to bump out a couple drivers, and now Landon Walker is going to be put on the cut line. And now everybody, we got a lot of drivers in the downstairs part of this pack that are putting down fantastic lap times. Mikhailovich putting down a 19th place time. Juan Carlos Espinoza putting down a 20th place time. And now Igor Barreto on the chopping block here with just a couple of minutes to go in qualifying. Goodness gracious. And also, no, Bucky Campbell is still in 27th. I thought Campbell was going to put himself in. But once again, for the 2nd consecutive race, one of the points leaders is going to miss the dance. It's by the looks of it, it's Dylan Ibrahimian. If he can do anything, I don't know, he's probably going to have about 45 seconds to go in qualifying. Down the pit lane, I don't see him. There he is. What can Ibrahimian do? Does he have a fast lap time this time around? He does not. And he's not going to make it around to put down another lap, so Dylan Ibrahimian will go home in GT Daytona. Just like we were talking about with Eric Monaco, he immediately put down a fast lap. Same thing is going to happen with Priya McShane for the first time in her FMGTC career. Looks like she'll be finally making the dance in that 22 machine. The final seconds will tick down. Once again, another solid qualifying result for Kyler Anderson. He will start from the pole position for GT Daytona. Shakira Takashi right next to him. We thought Landon Walker, who's the first one out. Actually, we do have a tie. We have a three-way tie for 20th. And that is going to come down to the point standings, as all these guys having a 42.231 second lap time. And that's going to come down to point standings here. The tiebreaker on who is going to be the top two win and who's going to be the one out, I believe Igor Barreto, he's going to be the other one, the odd one out, I believe. As Juan Carlos Espinoza currently 23rd in points, Igor Barreto 24th, and Landon Walker is going to be 19th. So that is absolutely heartbreaking for Igor Barreto. We thought it was going to get in by the skin of his teeth. Tiebreaker is going to go to who was top of the charts in the point standings, and of course Igor Barreto in that three-way tie right at the cut line. Barreto is going to miss his third consecutive race, and that is agonizingly painful for that driver who has just not had a great start to his 2026 campaign. But Tyler Anderson, Chikira Takashi are going to be the two at the top of the charts. And taking a look at the 9 drivers that failed to qualify here for today's race, for tomorrow's race. Prix McShane is in the show for the first time this season. Connor Monaco, glad to see him back in here as well. But from 22nd on down, Igor Barreto, Dylan Ebrahimian, the points leader, Will Parrish. Will Parrish will miss his first race of the season. Harrison Fox, Matt Lagacy, Bucky Campbell for 4 and starts the season. Carson Miller, Samet Oskin, and Damian Karanko as the top 2 in the championship standings for GT Daytona fail to qualify for the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix. Alexander Rose, starting from that 7th spot, has a pretty good chance with a good day to take that points lead away, as 60% of the top 5 in the points, Ebrahimian, Miller, and Karanko, failing to make the grid. Rogel Dorn and Alexander Rowe did make the show. Rowe's going to start in 14th, but drama right in the last couple of stages of qualifying. And, well, it is definitely going to make things very, very interesting for tomorrow afternoon's 150 lap Old Spice Easter Grand Prix here at the Old Spice Raceway. But from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, on behalf of everybody at the North American Sim Racing Network, we thank everybody for tuning in to both qualifying sessions for GT Le Mans and GT Daytona. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon here at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, if I'm not mistaken. We'll double check that right here, I believe. It's going to be 3 o'clock. It will be 3 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on the North American Sim Racing Network. 150 laps around Old Spice Raceway here tomorrow on the penultimate day, the Easter Eve, here for the 2026 running of the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix here at Old Spice. But on behalf of everybody at the North American Sim Racing Network, thank you once again for tuning in to qualifying. See you back here tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock sharp Eastern Time for race number 4 of the 2026 season of the FlowMaster Grand Touring Championship, the Old Spice Easter Grand Prix. Have a good night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.